Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Business Perspective, where we keep you close to the ground with mind-spinning conversations and stories. My name is Doreen Komhanj. We are glad you joined in. From taking foreign holidays to eating out-of-season fruit, once exotic experiences have become commonplace thanks to the airline industry, which has shrunk the globe since commercial flights started in earnest. But though the industry has done much to connect the world, it has done little to line the pockets of the airlines themselves. Uganda has revived its national carrier, but statistics indicate that national airlines offer little to be proud of and that Africa has only one profitable airline. So how special is Uganda Airlines and why has a booming business failed to prosper? Africa's aviation sector has the potential to fuel economic growth. The International Air Transport Association projects that the continent will become one of the fastest growing aviation regions in the next 20 years with an annual expansion of nearly 5%. Currently, there are 731 airports and 414 airlines on the continent. The aviation sector supports some 6.9 million jobs and $80 billion in economic activity. However, amid the opportunities, the sector faces a number of challenges, including weak infrastructure, high ticket prices, poor connectivity, and lack of liberalization. We see a lot going on. Now we have a national carrier, very exciting. What would you say is the state of the country's aviation industry today?
We have moved very far from where we have been a couple of years ago. As we speak now, when you look at passenger traffic, in 2018, Entebbe International Airport handled 1.84 million international arrivals and departures. Okay. That is in comparison to a paltry 118,000 in 1991, when Uganda CA had just been established. These numbers have kept growing from year to year. When you look at the current statistics for 2019, the period from January to June 2019, we have already recorded about slightly over 900,000 passengers in comparison to about 813,000 passengers in the same period of January to June of 2018. So that shows growth in passenger growth.
Recently, the country revived its national carrier. It sparked a lot of excitement, lots of hope. Not just in the locals, but especially in the region at large. However, like we did mention, earlier at the start of the interview, that most of these national airlines offer little to be proud of. And when we look at, sub-Saharan Africa, for example, when we look at the intercontinental flights, we have three. We'll talk about KQ, we'll talk about South African Airlines and Ethiopian Airlines. But according to reports, it's only Ethiopian Airlines that's making profit. What makes Uganda special?
No, it is not special per se, but besides the profits that we are looking at in the airlines, there are so many other benefits that national airlines present. First of all, the structures have to be right, and that is already being done. A good management team has been put in place for the airline. But most importantly, we have to look at what the airline is going to bring for us, besides what it is going to get, but what is the airline going to benefit the entire country as a whole. Okay. I think that is the most important thing that needs to be looked at. Once the airline is in place like it is, with new equipment and all the goodwill, we now need to look at the benefits that it brings. Even some of the players that you have cited that are presumably not doing well, they have actually done very well in promoting their countries, in bringing a lot of business to their countries, and that has helped all sectors of the other economies. In Kenya, in Ethiopia, even in Rwanda, when you look at the impact that Rwanda Air has had on their economy, the little time that it has been operating, the passenger traffic at Kigali has increased at a very high rate. They are about to catch up with us. It is actually good that we also have ours in place now, because it's going to act as a catalyst to building the passenger traffic, the passenger numbers that we have. The 1.8 million that we had last year is certainly going to increase by the end of the first year of the airline's operation. The airline industry is profitable, but you do not expect profits in the short run. Reason being, it is highly capital intensive. To be able to put up and run an airline, the investment that you put in is very high. The cost of aircraft is extremely high. The maintenance costs are high. The personnel costs, the running costs, for instance, aviation fuel is very expensive, and that contributes to the biggest percentage of an airline's costs. So the amount of investment that is put in an airline business is huge, and that is why it takes a lot of time to actually recoup these profits. But it also takes time to build goodwill amongst customers.
And trust.
While there may be struggles among the existing players, the impact that they have created, I think what we should look at is the bigger picture. When you're looking at the airline business, for instance, a national airline for that matter, while the airline itself may not be doing as well, but the impact that it creates is what is most important. So while the airline itself may not be doing well, it actually brings in a lot of traffic into the country. And the traffic that comes in contributes to the national economy, those revenues. When you look at transit passengers through Nairobi now, the number is so high. And this is because of the national airline. At Entebbe, last year we had just about 100,000 transit passengers. But now that we are getting a national airline, this number is certainly going to grow tremendously. And transit passengers add a lot to a country's economy. While they are in the airport waiting to connect to the next flight, they are buying items in the duty-free shops. They are spending in dollars, pounds. So they are bringing in foreign exchange in the process. That is one way. The other passengers that come in because of the national airline actually bring in revenue. It promotes tourism. It promotes the country outside. So there are a lot of benefits. In fact, a national airline should be looked at more the way you look at infrastructure. That you invest, when you invest in a road, for instance, you put in a lot of money, but you're not getting that money out.
Returns,
yes. But the road is facilitating all the other businesses. Similarly, the airline is going to facilitate the other aspects of the economy.
Africans make up to 12% of the world's population, but only 2% of the world's passengers. To close the gap and deliver economic and social benefits, experts advise that governments have an important role to play by championing intercontinental aviation as well as shaping a dynamic African aviation sector. First, they should build a modern infrastructure, then liberalize, which will lead to 3 valuable outcomes: new routes and more frequent flights, better connections, and lower fares. These improvements, will increase the number of passengers, which will have both direct and indirect positive effects on trade, business travel, and tourism.